Hi, everybody. We're back. Here we are, week number 4, I think, of coronavirus time. We are thankful that God has given us technology that we can stay connected.
Yeah.
It is working a lot of patience in me. Most of you know this is not my gifting. I break technology. I am known to uh, cause all sorts of amazing problems with it. But thank God we have it. Thank God we have people surrounding us that know how to use it well.
Thank you,
And
Brooke.
we hope that you we hope that you all are enjoying it too, and that you're learning and growing, because not only do we get to talk to you here on Facebook Live or YouTube, but we also get to have Zoom classes and do things together to stay connected during this time that we've been asked to shelter in place. And as hard as it has been um, for us, and especially a church like ours who loves to fellowship and loves to be together.
And miss
This
it
is,
terribly.
yes, and it's going to be one big party when we get to be back together. But here we are today. So I just want to say hello. I'm super excited about our Easter service. Once again, a little disappointed we won't be together, but it does not change the power of the message of the resurrected Christ, and it doesn't change that we can worship together, and it doesn't change anything. It is just a day that needs to be celebrated. It is the hallmark of our Christian faith. So I hope you'll join us on Sunday at 10 o'clock. It's going to be great. It's going to be just a great time to celebrate. What else can I say? Um, Pastor Pat has an exciting announcement. He's been working hard during this time. We really aren't just sitting around watching TV and reading books. We actually are very busy and been involved in the community and doing things. And so, Pastor Pat, why don't you share what you've been up to?
Well, historically, when crises hit the world at any place, in any region, it's been the church that rises to the occasion to be salt and light. And Tuolumne County's faith community, they're not only no exception to that rule, but they've been a stellar example of God's people rising to the occasion. I'm really honored to say that we've been able to work in cooperation and collaboration with many of the churches in the county here. Several projects underway. One is going to be launched here in the next day or so. We're calling it the Hope Line. I want to give specific thanks to our supervisor, Anaya Kirk. It was his idea. He came forward with it, and he solicited the help of myself and Cynthia Hallman and Derek and Christy Maxon. And this thing has just come together, not just easily, but at great length with a great deal of effort on all those names I mentioned. I've had probably the smallest contribution to it, but we're going to be launching that in the next day or so. It's a line of hope, a place where people of faith can call, or not just a people of faith can call, but people of faith are going to listen. People who care, people who want to share a word of hope.
Yes, it's going to be exciting. We are looking forward to this new opportunity and to be able to reach into hearts. You know, this is just a rough time. Some people are all by themselves. They're home alone, and sheltering in place has been extremely painful and hard. So this is going to be a place where they can call and talk to someone and just receive hope. It's going to be great. So here we are, Easter week, bringing hope. Super excited. I forgot to mention earlier, I want to thank our leaders, Governor Newsom, President Trump,
Yes.
because they actually have deemed those that come together to provide online services for faith-based things for churches, that these are essential workforces in order to keep people during this time. And so I'm thankful for that. I just want you to know that we are following all the guidelines given for that, and we are just excited that they have allowed churches all across this nation to be able to get together and provide hope for the people out there. So let's give a shout out for that. It's really important. I want to just remind you at the end of our little time this evening that we have some options for you. There's spirit classes going on, which is our ministers training program. We also have Pastor Pat and a team that are preaching or teaching, shall I say, on foundations, and they're in a book called The Cross, which we say it's where God and man intersect. And tonight they're going to be teaching on Which lesson are you on?
On salvation.
On salvation.
Lesson number 2, volume 1.
How perfect is that for this week, right? And so we're really excited about that. And then anybody else who would like to be part of a prayer call, we are going to be praying tonight specifically over California, over our nation. We're going to speak life. We're going to thank the Lord that so far, the pandemic has not reached the numbers that were anticipated.
Lord.
We're going to pray that it continues to not go where they want, not where they want, but where they were expecting, because no one wants anyone to suffer. No one wants anyone to die. And it's been a tragic situation across the world. And we are going to continue as God's people to have faith and to pray and to see the end of this virus, to see the doctors find the cure, to see all the things that need to happen. So we just hope that you will join us, to speak life over this nation.
I also want to say the same thing that Celine just said, thanking our government, our president, our governor, and our local authorities as well. I want to thank those who are spending tireless hours trying to do their best to fight this thing and to keep our people safe. And I want to thank them very much for that. I also want to give a shout out of thanks to our team, our communications team and our IT team for being there, coming out in small numbers, very small numbers, to do these videos and do these recordings and to upload this so that it's available to us. Like Celine says, we're working very hard. We are staying in compliance, and but we're so grateful to those that are risking themselves to come out and to film and to do this portion. Also tonight, for those who are not in the Spirit Training program and Spirit Training class, and for those of you who are not going to be a part of the prayer time, if you're going to be joining our Foundations class, a little heads up, Peggy Costa is going to be teaching it. So come on, don't miss that. Peggy's going to be covering. It's going to be a great message. I did have something I wanted to share briefly for you guys today before we shift over to our classes. Leading up to this Easter season, I was particularly in the midst of this COVID-19 affair here, this pandemic shutdown. I was reminded of what happened in the first Passover, and it's actually the Passover season that we're in today. Let me read from Exodus 12, where we see the episode, the account of the first Passover. Remember now, children of Israel had been slaves in Egypt for over 400 years when God sent Moses to rescue the people and bring them out of this bondage and slavery. And God says to Moses in Exodus 12, verse 6, it says, the evening of the 14th day of this first month, and frankly, that would be today, Israel must kill the Passover lamb. Verse 7, they are to take some of the blood and smear it on the sides and doorposts and the top, the lintel of the door frames of their houses. Exodus 12:22, it says, no one is to leave the house until it is done. Does that ring a bell here? They're to not leave their house, in this case, until morning. Verse 23, it says, the angel of death shall pass through the land, but when he sees the blood on the door frame of the house, the Lord will pass over your house. He will not permit his death angel to enter your house or strike you down. This may have been the first shelter-in-place order given to the human race. To remain safe, the people of Israel, to remain safe and to be protected from this death angel, the Israelites were required to remain in their homes. But being in their homes wasn't enough. Just being inside wasn't enough. They had to apply the blood of the lamb to the doors of their homes, to the doors, the entry places into their lives. That blood kept the death angel away. The Lord instructed the angel of death to pass over the house that had the blood on the door. Does that speak a little bit of us of something that we're going through today? How does this apply? This allegory apply to us today? Like all other allegories, we need to be careful not to try to superimpose it. But I don't know how we can miss the application of this thing in our life. I don't believe for a minute that God sent the coronavirus. I don't believe, like I'm going to teach on Friday. I don't believe God did this. It's sin that breaks things. God doesn't cause it. He brings the solutions to it. But it's hard to not see the parallel between what happened in the first Passover and what is happening today. It was the blood that kept the angel of death away. The Lord instructed the angel of death to pass over. And that is what we're facing today. In that day, like I said, it was 400 years of bondage and slavery in Egypt. And that this event was right at the end of the slavery and was like the threshold to bring the children of Israel out, to bring incredible freedom from this bondage of Egypt. Coincidentally, today, like I said earlier, it is Passover today for the Jews of this world. And the modern nation of Israel is today also in a shutdown under a shelter-in-place order today in Israel. Quoting from Elijah's List, I think it was yesterday afternoon, it said, quote, "For the first time since Israel left Egypt thousands of years ago, modern-day Israel is entirely in lockdown during the Passover. At exactly the same time, the church and most of the rest of the world is also in a lockdown, right as Passover occurs, right during the Easter resurrection season. We find ourselves in this shelter in place." I believe it's time to understand that this is not by coincidence, but that we find ourselves, Israel and the church, all in our homes at Passover time, preparing for darkness and death to pass over us and pass us by. Isn't that an interesting coincidence? Reading again from Exodus 12, verse 11, "These are your instructions for eating this meal. Be fully dressed, wear your sandals, carry your walking stick in your hand."
No jammies.
No jammies.
Sorry. Couldn't resist.
They were to, I want you to really hear this and listen to the parallel. They were to eat their meal fully dressed and fully ready to go. Fully dressed and fully ready. Mm-hmm. Celine and I have been feeling something. So many of us have mentioned it. So many of us have heard others, leaders in Christianity, saying that something is coming. Something big, something very important is coming after this COVID-19 deal is over. I don't think anyone really knows what it is. It's going to be new. That means we don't know. What I do know is this, and hear me carefully. God's people, all of God's people, I'm not just talking about Word of Life or any given church. All of God's people need, what I know is all of God's people need to be fully dressed and fully ready. Don't be distracted from doing what we're supposed to be doing. Eating the meal, fully dressed, fully ready. Yes, we're going to continue to be salt and light to this world, engaged in helping our church and our community outside of the church. But don't be distracted from doing what we're supposed to be doing. Eating the meal, fully dressed, fully ready. Then when we come through this, and we will come through this, we can be fully part of what God is about to unfold upon the church, our nation, and our world. And what did God open up to the children of Israel in that first Passover? What was the first Passover the threshold to? Wasn't it to the complete deliverance from the bondages of Egypt? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it to the parting of the Red Sea? Wasn't it to living and relying on bread from heaven? Wasn't it entering into the promised land?
Yes.
What do these all look like? What are they going to be like? I don't know. But I'm intent on eating this meal fully dressed and being fully ready. Be there with us. Let's do this together. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of our presentation. Be a part of tonight's service, and we will see you on Friday.
Yes.
Friday, we're going to have a special presentation. Friday at 7 p.m., we're going to be doing a special message. We're going to ask everybody to gather with their families. We're going to do communion together. So Friday at 7, tune in, and we're going to have a time of the Word and a time of communion together. So we will see you again on Friday at 7 p.m., and we'll see you again on Resurrection Day, Sunday, Easter Sunday. God bless you, and remember, we're going to eat this meal fully dressed and fully ready to see what God is going to do when this COVID thing is over, when it lifts from us.
Yes.
We love you. God bless you. Be safe.